How is lead doing?
You know, it's going good. We're just in this kind of, with 4002 and all the new stuff coming in and the grant and all of this stuff, we're just kind of in this kind of building.
Almost like a transition.
Yeah, like a transition, just kind of trying to figure out what that looks like. Hiring more navigators. Now we have 5 positions, and so trying to just map that out. We're going to put in an outreach program within LEAD, which is going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to that. And so just kind of trying to figure all of that out has been a lot. Plus handling all the questions from everybody around the state. Being the only one of the only programs that was up and running, we're kind of the model for that. So it's handling all those questions.
Well, yeah, because we've been running since 2018.
Yeah, and doing a really good job actually. Not me, but everybody that works for LEAD has been killing it. And so, just trying to do that, presentations, that whole thing, media, because that's been a huge part of this whole thing is getting the word out. And so just trying to handle and juggle all those things. So it's been good. It's been real good.
Yeah. Look at you.
Yeah, yours wasn't too bad. You were on.
Wow.
Okay.
But
that would have been a really difficult birdie position for where I'm at. Yeah, I think it's when you start looking at all of the questions and stuff that you guys are getting around the state. I supervise part of the original LEAD program in Seattle. I have the contract in Deschutes County and then Lane County. And the cool thing about LEAD is that it's able to form the community, right? There is a framework, right? Because it is law enforcement assisted, now deflection, the cool buzzword. But when you look at that, it's law enforcement driven.
Yeah.
Right? Like without you guys making the referrals, the programs don't exist.
Sure.
Right? And it's that community partnership, treatment and law enforcement working together to bring access to services like we've never seen before.
Yeah.
Right? Except for we've just been doing it here in this county since 2018.
Right, and we're used to it.
Yeah. Right? But building it in other counties has been a lot of fun because we are using the framework of what was created that we all have been doing since 2018, which has been a lot of fun.
It has been, and the funny part is going back to 2018 and forward is getting to relive that buy-in with all the other agencies that you're working with. It's been kind of cool to see, actually.
Yeah. Well, I think what's funny is when it comes to LEAD, because you weren't doing LEAD in 2018.
No, I was not.
And then one day I got a phone call from you saying, can we have coffee?
Yeah.
And I had found out that you were going to be our new sergeant.
Yes.
For LEAD.
I was voluntold.
I was excited because everything everybody told me about you being a canine cop and all of that stuff, that you were like a go-getter, and I was excited, right? Not that the sergeant that we had before was bad or anything like that, but it was like you brought a different flavor to that program.
Sure.
Right? And so when you look at getting buy-in from law enforcement, like somebody with your background, in my mind, I'm like, this is going to change the tide. Like this is going to be what it takes for this program to like go over the top with it. And then I'll never forget having coffee with you. Because you said...
Oh, yeah. I thought the program was complete BS. Absolutely.
I was like...
Not a doubt in my mind. I thought it was complete garbage.
And I was like, okay, let me prove you wrong.
Right.
And now, today, you are the biggest advocate across the state, across the nation, right, with the time we're in now, for this program.
Without a doubt, because it works.
What was it that you saw that changed your mind?
Two things. Well, there was a lot of things, but the two or three major things were you and Hank, first of all, because back 2010, 2008, 2009, the three of us would not get along, right?
No.
And so seeing the change in you guys kind of started that. And then some of the other folks that I would deal with all the time, seeing them get clean, seeing them, start to like be productive members of society, that kind of changed it too. And then there was one lead client, and I won't mention her name, but she had been in addiction, battling addiction forever, in and out of jail, prison, hadn't had her kids in 10 years, became a lead client, did all the right things, and got her kids back after 10 years. And I was like, that's it, man. It works.
Yeah. So she's amazing. She was client number like 7, 8.
Mm-hmm.
Early client.
Yep.
And to watch that, even for me, as someone that like got to do this on an everyday thing, right? Lived out transition in my own life, but to watch that was so cool. But to also to watch law enforcement rally around that change in her life, to be advocates for her in getting her kids.
Yeah.
Right? Because she was doing all the things, really honestly doing all the things, right? She was in sober living. She had a job. She was promoting within that job. Then she was like going to school and wanted to become a mentor in this field, what she is.
Yeah.
Just all of those things was awesome. But I think also for me, some of the coolest stuff was watching you change.
Yeah.
From not wanting to be there. You literally told me that you were voluntold, mm-hmm. and that you didn't believe in the program. You thought it was just another program. But to watch you change to now, I mean, I got to watch you sit on stage at the state symposium for LEAD.
Right.
And talk about this program.
Well, and buy-in is huge, especially for cops, because cops are notoriously, we're cynical.
Mm-hmm.
We don't buy into a lot of things because we've been told to do so many things and then it doesn't work. So to actually see the results from the program I think is what was key for a lot of agencies to buy in. And it'll be the biggest thing for other agencies like Deschutes County that's just bringing this on, right? For their officers to see the results from the clients,
mm-hmm.
Then that changes how the day-to-day road cops handle their contacts with the people that are great lead clients that need that help and need to be put in.
100%. And I talk about it a lot, and I know you've heard me talk about it, because we talk about change in the lead clients. It goes both ways. I mean, I have 100% changed. There was a time in my career, you were probably there too at one point when we were young, everybody needs to go to jail. That's how we solve problems, right? We take people to jail. That's what we do, and you kind of get in this mindset that it's good versus evil. And then you kind of start maturing in your career and you realize that good people make mistakes. And, okay, so taking them to jail doesn't help. Like, now what can I do to help? And it's this like kind of maturation process that you kind of go through. Don't get me wrong, there are still people that need to go to jail.
Oh, 100%.
Right? But
I needed to be there every time.
Sure, but that's not the answer for everyone.
No, it's
and
not.
That's what we talk about. Like, what is the answer for that individual?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's jail, sometimes it's prison, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's sober living. Sometimes it's rehab, away from there's so many things that we can do now, and LEAD helps them get to all of those services. So that's why I'm a fan.
Yeah, well, it's amazing because, again, it doesn't happen, this program, and I love the fact that, starting this program with Paige, right, being the original person in this town, starting this program with Paige, and then being able to do presentations with law enforcement and watch. This program literally does not happen without you guys. Right? Yeah. You can start this program anywhere you want in the world, and if you don't have law enforcement buy-in, you don't have a program.
Right.
Right? You can have one, but you have to have both. You have to have the treatment side and the law enforcement side. But I always, and since 2018, I've asked law enforcement, right? Like, how many of you in the room can, off the top of your head, think of 3 people that you deal with on a regular basis, and the underlying issue is substance abuse? Every cop, every deputy in the room will raise their hand, unless they just started the day before, right? However, every time I went to jail or every time I went to prison, that didn't change my addictive behaviors. Right. It didn't change my mentality, right? The underlying root cause of the reason I was there wasn't being dealt with, and it didn't change.
Right.
So I'd get out and I just go right back to doing the same stuff. But when you deal with and you have the opportunity, which LEAD presents, the opportunity to deal with the root cause, I am no longer on your guys' CAD, right?
Right.
And a good percentage of the individuals that LEAD has been able to help are no longer on Kaiser PD's CAD, Marion County Sheriff's Department's CAD, Salem Police Department, right? And in these other counties that we're building these programs, individuals will stop being on the CAD because, again, I've said this all of our videos, I stopped doing drugs, I stopped committing crime.
Right.
Right? And so being able to, with LEAD, to give a wide array of resources, the availability, right? It's like, here it is on a silver platter. What is it that you need to make you change, right? Not to make you, to help you change.
Right.
And it's just amazing. But law enforcement doesn't get the credit that you guys deserve, right? You guys get there is bad cops and there is bad counselors, right? There is bad people that work at McDonald's, right? Like, it doesn't matter what the profession is, there's bad people in there.
Right.
But that's not the majority.
No.
Right?
No.
And so I think that this program deserves more of a highlight than it gets, because I don't think that people really have a true understanding of all that goes into making this program. So you said cynical, right? Cops are cynical, jaded. But one of the things that I talk to law enforcement about all the time is this. You show up and you clock on, I don't care what shift it is, you clock on and you literally deal with the depravity of mankind from the moment that you clock in to the moment you clock out, right? Because you are dealing with somebody is called for an emergency and that's why you go, right? And typically you guys aren't responding to, the cat in the tree that needs help out of the tree and everybody's happy because you climbed that tree. You guys are showing up to rough stuff, abuse, violence, crime, some really heinous crimes. That's what you deal with every single day. So this program, in the help that you guys are able to offer to people, right? There's guidelines, right? Mm-hmm. Of what criteria, and that changes in whatever county you're in. But there's guidelines. But if somebody meets that criteria for this program, dude, this program can do some really, really cool things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's programs like this that help cops empty the bucket.
Yeah.
And this is so most people, we refer to this a lot in law enforcement, is you have a bucket and like today it's raining. Eventually you see so much stuff in law enforcement, eventually that bucket's going to get full. You repress it, you push it down, Eventually that bucket gets so full that it starts overflowing.
Yeah.
And you need these success stories of being able to help people to empty a little bit of that bucket so that it doesn't overflow and you don't have the breakdown. And I'm glad this topic came up, is that's another one that we need to do in the future is mental health for law enforcement.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not overlooked, and the large majority of the population says, "Hey, you have a job, go do it."
Yeah.
And they don't think about the stuff that you see.
Right.
They're not the ones consoling the wife that lost her husband after 60 years of marriage and now she doesn't know what she's going to do. You're not going and consoling the young family that just had their infant child die of SIDS or whatever. We're doing that day in and day out. Plus, we're going and we're helping the victim of domestic violence that just got beat up. But we're taking and unfortunately we have to take her partner away to jail. But as she sees it, her entire life is
being ripped out from under her.
Being ripped out from under her. And so these successes that we get to see through the LEAD program and other programs are huge for law enforcement and keeping their sanity and their mental health at a premium high.
Oh,
100%.
absolutely.
All right, let's make a birdie.
Let's do it. Let me go find my ball in the back 40 here while you guys do that.
Should be just right over here by this rock. I saw it land.
Oh.
There it is.
There we go.
Oh.
Nope.
Hey, bring that back and we'll edit that, re-putt that so we can see the break. We got to get a birdie here. I didn't trust it.
Did we actually get a birdie? No? No. If you guys didn't get it, we didn't get it.
I did not get it. I'm sure you're surprised. You know, I was going to tell you one thing I do appreciate is you still calling or telling people that story about me and Lead, and basically being like, hey, if you guys don't believe in this, call him. Because I still get to be an advocate for the program, and I get calls all the time.
Dude, it really does matter. You know, it's like when we show up, right? Like on a scene, when you guys call and you guys are like, hey, we have somebody, right? Like they take the word from us, the people with lived experience, way different, right, than you guys in uniform,
yeah.
Right? So it's the same thing, right? I can tell people, and I do tell people about the program and all of the amazing things that happen in the program and what it looks like to have a lead program in your town. But it really is different for law enforcement to hear it from one of their own, sure. Right? Even though it's not the same community, like it's just different. And so it is very powerful to be able to share that you didn't, but you were willing to give me a shot, to give the program a shot, to prove you otherwise, right? You just weren't like, this is BS, it doesn't work, it's not gonna work, that's my thoughts, that's the way that it's gonna be, right? When I said, well, let me prove you wrong, you were still willing to like, okay, right? Go for it. Mm-hmm. And you allowed it to happen because the real transition in people's lives was so evident that you couldn't deny it, right? Mm-hmm. And so when I get to share that with other law enforcement agencies, I'm glad that they call you. Yeah. I tell them all the time, I will write his phone number on the board so that if you guys can reach out to him, like please do reach out to him, mm-hmm. because you're gonna hear that I'm telling you the truth, and you're gonna hear a lot more on the law enforcement side that I can't talk about, right? Like I don't know, I'm not a cop, so I don't know, I can't speak on that, mm-hmm. right? And so I'm glad that it's worked out. I'm glad that people have. I thought it was really cool because the one time that I did that, I came back the next day and the dude was like, so I know him, and I called him and he said, you're telling the truth. Right. And I'm like, thank you.
Right.
And I'm like, see, right to everybody else in the room. So
right.
It works out great.
Yeah, that's good stuff.